You're listening to Excellence Above Talent, a podcast where we have the hard conversations about the lives of men and what leads us to achieve greatness and suffer defeat. Hear from other men's journeys as well, as we all learn and grow together to become inspirations to ourselves and those around us. And now your host, Aaron Thomas.
What's up, my beautiful people? Aaron Thomas with Excellence Above Talent. Daniel Marquez, that's your last name, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we're just going to jump into it, have a conversation. Again, this podcast is about finding ways to help build high-value men and talking about the tough conversations that a lot of men or people in general just don't talk about. So, without further ado, Daniel, tell the folks something about yourself.
Well, hello. My name is Daniel. I'm 38 years old. I was born and raised in Odessa, Texas. I have two girls that are in high school. They are 16 and 14 years old. I'm a single parent. Been doing the mom and dad thing for quite some time now. I own a home construction and remodeling company here in Odessa, Texas. I travel the surrounding areas to do work and projects and stuff.
What's it called?
It's called we're dropping shameless plugs.
Yeah, hell yeah, we are, man. Of course we are. We can get some work, then why not?
Yeah. My company is called DMK Construction. You can find it up on Instagram as DMK Construction _2021, or on Facebook is DMK Construction. It's got a picture of a gold lion. I typically share it on social media, so be on the lookout for that.
I lied. I know I told you about this one question we was going to start off with. But you said you were a single parent. How long have you been a single parent?
So we're getting into the weeds of it, huh?
Yeah. We are just jumping into it.
Might as well. Okay, a little bit of my backstory is I've had full custody of my oldest daughter. She's 16. She'll be 17 in June. Awesome. I've had full custody of her since she was like 2.5 years old.
Okay.
Mom kind of just up and went with the boyfriend. Didn't show up to court hearings. She didn't call, didn't show up for I think like 9 or 10 years. I would say 9 years. So she was probably about 11. So there was no phone calls, no happy birthdays, no Christmases, no nothing. Yeah. Just completely disappeared. I really didn't even know if she was still alive or what. And then a couple years after that, she comes back into the picture, and come to find out that she had 3 other kids from the same dude that she was, ran off with.
Yeah.
So I've been raising her, by myself with the help of my parents, and since she was 2, yeah. Now she's in high school, and we're talking about graduation rings and whatnot.
Yeah. I'm just curious because a lot of times it's the moms who are the single parents. How tough was that as a dude, being a single parent and trying to play the role of both mom and dad, and you had a girl too, so you had to learn certain things.
Oh my God, it was impossible.
Yeah.
Let's if we start back whenever she was as a toddler, changing diapers, doing bows, dresses, shoes, all that stuff's gotta go together. Outfits gotta match. I used to have to do bows, and I learned how to do hair. I'm not the best at it, but braids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then during the potty training stages, that's where it was kind of creepy, because you're like a dude having this kid, and she's a girl.
Yeah. And
she's got to go to the bathroom. You're like, oh man, you can't take her to the guy's restroom. You know how it is in there.
Yeah.
And so as she got a little bit older, I would take her to the women's restrooms, and sometimes I would knock, or there'd be a lady or somebody walking in. I'm like, hey, my daughter's got to use the bathroom. Can you check so I can take her? She was still kind of little. But as she grew up a little bit, I would just kind of take her, and I'd wait outside the door. Yeah. And but sometimes I felt like I looked like a creep.
Got you.
So I would just, go a little bit further back and stuff. Yeah. And then as time went on, is like my daughter, she wouldn't come out of the bathroom. And I'm like, so a lady would be walking in and out, and I'm like, hey, can you do me a favor? She's kind of weird asking that question. And I'm like, hey, my daughter, she's in there. You know, she's using the bathroom. She's like, oh, yeah, you know, a little girl. I helped her wash her hands or whatever. I was like, okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then just growing up, man, growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. I think it's pretty cool. You don't really get to hear like the perspectives from like a dad being a single parent. It's always a lot of it is the moms and things of that nature. So
yeah, that seems to be more common.
So it is, but it is tough raising, you know, not one but two daughters by yourself.
Yeah, the thing is, I have two baby mamas.
Yeah. And I mean, everyone at this point got
it happens, right?
All over the place.
Hey, we all got a story to tell.
Yeah.
I have two baby mamas. My second daughter, she lives with her mom. You know, mom's there.
Yeah.
So the connection is there with both of us. We co-parent, as well as we can. That daughter, she's in high school. Well, they're both in high school, and but the thing was, the oldest one, that's the one that's trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's just there's no guidebook, there's no manual, and there's no handbook to how to raise girls, and then teenage girls, and then as they get into that age where they're doing the
talking to boys and stuff.
No.
Okay.
They kind of keep that a secret, and I try to ask questions, but they don't really give too much.
Yeah. I got you.
And then the girl stuff, oh my God, that was something that kind of it was a learning process for both of us, because, like, for example, my oldest one, the girl's going through their periods and all their body changes and stuff, and then so it was hard because she didn't have her mother figure.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, she would ask my mom and grandma and stuff, and then so eventually I just talking to her like, hey, it's just me and you, like, we're gonna have to get through this. And I think after a couple of years of it, she finally, now they make a joke out of it.
Yeah.
But I was that parent or that dad that I had to take them to go buy feminine products, and then I take them to go buy bras and underwear.
And I don't know why guys make it a big deal about buying feminine product. Like, I don't know why we try to like hide it like it's something that's like taboo or something. I walk in there, grab it, throwing the box up in the air like, what, dude? It's tampons. Like, what are we doing? Like,
I don't know. It's just I think just men are just embarrassed because it's not something that's natural for us to do. But like in my situation, like I had to do it because I've got a teenage girl, two teenage girls. So like we'd be at the grocery store, and I'm like, hey, do you need something from that aisle? And she's like, no, I'm fine. And I'm like, are you sure? She's like, yeah. And so it got to the point where she would just be like, I tell her like, you know what, just grab whatever you need to get, no questions asked, put it in the cart, you can hide it, whatever. But as like I said, as time grew up, we make a joke out of it.
Yeah.
Because I tell them like, man, why are you guys so moody? Oh, it's because she's on her period, or because I'm like, oh my gosh.
That's funny, man. Cool. I think that was just a different perspective, a cool perspective from a single dad. Jumping into the podcast and what it is that we want to create and do. So the suicide rate within men are 3.5 times more likely to commit suicide than women. There are 132 suicides a day. 94 of those are men, which is just a crazy number. So 94 men are taking their lives daily. And why do you think that number is high? And why do you think men are taking their lives at that high of a rate?
Well, it's a mind-staggering statistic. I mean, it's high.
Yeah.
I think because the stigma is that men, we're supposed to be strong. We're not supposed to be weak.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to break down on simple, just everyday life. Like we're supposed to. You've heard the saying, pull yourself up from your bootstraps.
Yeah.
I think it's just being in growing up traditional Mexican is like my dad. He was a breadwinner. My mom, stayed at home with the kids and whatever. But I think growing up, men just have this, I don't know to say, it's like an influence, or that's how, we grew up, that you can't be sick, you can't be scared, you can't be stressed out, you can't have anxiety, you can't have anything, because it looks like, oh, he's weak, or he's crazy, or like, oh, that you're not a man. Or like, pull yourself up from your bootstraps.
Yeah.
Like, come on, dude, like, get your shit together.
Yeah.
You know, you can handle this.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes you need that, like, even with other men to talk and your peers to just say, hey, man, I got this going on. And then your other friends or other people are like, well, I went through this and this is how I handled it. But I think that the reason those rates are so high because men, we put so much weight and stress and effort on ourselves to pay the bills, you know, take care of the kids, take care of the family, take care of the household. Like me, for example, you know, being self-employed, I don't just go to a job and clock in.
Yeah.
Like I got to do a job, I got to finish it in a timely manner so I can get some money, get some, you know, get paid.
Yeah.
And so all that stress is on me. And then the next job coming up and the next job and the next job. So it's just like I don't go somewhere and just clock in and you know piddle around all day and then clock out at the end of the day. Like it's just that's the stress that you carry. But in my situation, I mean, I have the gym, I play Call of Duty. I like what I do. I build, you know, showers, you know, kitchens. Right now, I'm doing a kitchen painting project. I did a really cool project a couple weeks ago. It's a epoxy countertop.
Yeah.
So stuff like that, it distracts me from the normal stresses of, you know, work and bills and kids. Like you ever been around two teenage girls?
No, I mean, yes, I have. I've been around a lot of teenage girls before, working with the crisis center, and we had like a Wonder Girls camp.
Yeah, well, they're
like 60 of them. So yeah,
they're moody.
Like, yeah, for sure.
So they're moody. So they stress me out. But I mean, that's part of the package that I took. That this role of being a dad, being a parent, like there's no giving up. You can't give them back.
So I think I want to kind of dig deep more into why we think showing emotions is weak. Like, because I think it's the opposite. Guys who punch holes in walls, who throws their phone and breaks it, who tries to intimidate by screaming, yelling, and hollering, and who can't control their anger. I feel like those guys are the weakest guys. But for some odd reason, society has them as guys who are strong and the guys who want to talk about their issues and cry and deal with these, you know, these things that they're going through. They're viewed as weak. Like, why do you think that is?
I'm not sure. I think that people, or you know, men that act like that, like you're saying, they, you know, punch holes. I think they want to earn respect or they want to gain respect, but out of fear.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they, you know, they do things like that. For example, a man that's he's mad and angry, or for whatever reason he's in front of his wife or a significant other, he's banging the walls or, you know, punching holes because he wants that attention. Like he's trying to show his dominance. Like he's trying to intimidate his partner. You know, it's basically, I think you touched on it last week, 2 weeks ago. It's like it's an abuse of power.
Yeah.
But it's not really an abuse of power. It's they have the power to abuse because I think that they've mentally damaged, you know, their significant other, their person, so that they know not to talk back or say anything out of, you know, quote unquote disrespect to offend the man because they know he's going to start, you know, punching holes in the wall, slamming doors, throwing stuff at them, or even, you know, physical abuse.
Yeah.
So I think part of that is where it stems from.
Yeah. Man, so I also think this is an issue that guys have in dating relationships. I feel like the guys who seem to be tougher, who seems to have their stuff together, that's kind of where the women flock to. And the guys who are just kind of more docile, you know, respectful, and, you know, doesn't have to, like, you know, puff up or peacock. They're the ones that kind of get crapped on by these females. Do you think that's something that's happening, or am I just seeing things myself?
No, it's like the age-old saying goes, nice guys finish last.
Okay.
You see stuff like that. It's if you were to go out or something, you're sitting at a table, whatever, and you see a group of another table, you know, couple, you know, whatever, at the bar. You see the guys being like yelling, being like the main attraction, being the you know, center of attention, and the girls they gravitate to that. I don't know why. It's just something that they like. Maybe they like the attention. They think that he's the dominant one in that circle or that area.
Yeah.
I don't know why, what it is about them, but the age old saying goes that nice guys finish last. But sometimes, the nice guy, the docile, the gentle, that's caring and shows emotions is the one that's typically, the winner.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you get the guys that are like huffing and puffing their chest and being all dramatic. That those guys are, quote unquote, the fuck boys.
Yeah. And it seems like the fuck boys are winning now. And this, like if you're a guy, you're trying to, be respectful, and you're learning yourself, and you're trying to respect, the women out there. It seems like that's not something that they run to. They run to the people who are going to treat them like shit. And this is me, my opinion, but they run to the guys who are going to treat them like shit. And I'm still trying to figure out why, over someone who I guess is safe. And I guess that's what the issue is. Like, they're not looking for safe. They're looking for
the bad boy.
Yeah.
They're looking for the bad boy.
I got you.
I think that mainstream media, pop culture kind of portrays, quote unquote, the bad boy as the protector, the one that's going to take care of you, the one that's going to protect you in any case. It's going to flaunt you or show you out to the world.
Yeah. Got you. All right. So what do you think what are some characteristics of a high value man?
I think, me personally, I like to growing up in this area and working in West Texas in the oil fields, and is along these lines I've learned these 4 characteristic traits is trust, integrity, truth, and respect, and loyalty. Well, that's 5.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Say who, do what you're going to do, do what you're going to say, be trustworthy. If somebody comes to you with something, don't blow it around, don't share it,
Yeah.
Be where you're going to be. Of course, stuff happens, right?
Yeah.
But integrity is your biggest, I don't even know what the word is, but being who you are, being a good person, being a good listener, having faith, being trustworthy, being caring, being emotional, and still being aggressive when you need to.
Yeah.
I think those are all traits of a high value man, taking care of your business, your responsibilities.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I would have to agree with you on that, boss man. I would have to agree with you on that for sure. Why do you think loyalty is so important?
Loyalty is because it makes a bond, and it builds a bond, and it keeps a bond between people.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I think you touched on it. I listen to the show.
Yeah.
I listen to it every Friday.
I appreciate you for that.
But I think that loyalty is the bond that you make. Like, if somebody tells me something, I think these are your words, quote unquote, Aaron Thomas words.
Yeah.
If I tell you something and you share it to somebody else, then I can't fuck with you anymore.
Got you. Those are my words.
And I'm using them in context, but I think that's really what it is. It's just loyalty is being loyal to another person, whether it's a spouse, a friend, a family member. Being loyal in certain situations, like where if it's somebody comes to you and says, "Hey man, I got financial problems or whatever. What can I do?" Or remember the message that I sent you a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
Stuff like that, or just just personal stuff, relationships, friends. Just if somebody's coming to you in confidence, I think you should keep that to yourself, unless you think it's like a deeper problem that could lead to something. Then you kind of have to play by ear. Every situation is different, and kind of like say, hey, I need to take this up to somebody else.
Gotcha.
Like if it's something that's suicidal or or worse. I don't even want to bring those kind of things up.
I got you. So I think this is my assessment of why fuck boys are winning and nice guys are not.
Let's hear it.
It's the loyalty part. I feel like nice guys aren't loyal to themselves. And when they get a female, they change for that female. And a female or a woman can't trust a man who can't be himself, like 100% of the time. And a fuckboy doesn't care if that female's around or not. He's going to just be who he is, and he's kind of loyal to himself.
And he doesn't change.
And he doesn't change for anyone, because that's just who he is.
Yeah.
And I think, to me, that's the biggest reason why nice guys are finishing last, is because they're willing to to adapt or change to what that person needs. But again, once that person gets done with, once that person changes to what they need, like, then I feel like, that woman is done with that man. Like, okay, he's done everything that I've asked him to do. There's no reason for me to continue with this relationship. So I'm going to go and find someone new or different.
Yeah.
And then the guy who is nice, he's sitting there thinking like, man, I've done everything for her. I have been loyal to her, right? But he wasn't loyal to himself, because he wouldn't have changed if he was loyal to himself. So he became loyal to her and did everything that she wanted. He did everything that she wanted him to do, and now, at the end, he's the one heartbroken and stuck.
Yeah, and seeing his girls out there with
the fuck boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that something in that situation is that he, for example, the nice guy, that he did everything right to get that girl.
For sure.
Right. He did everything right, but just somewhere along the lines he changed, and I mean that he changed by I don't want to say he conformed to her.
Yeah.
He bent his will to her, what she liked.
Yeah.
There was never any pushback from him. Like if she said, "Hey, we're gonna do this," and he said, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Then I guess she grew into the alpha, to the dominant.
Got you.
And then she's like, "Well, I can just do whatever. I can go do this or I can do that." And I think how we, revert back to if you're the alpha and then you're the guy, is the beta, you're gonna be like, well, he can't protect me. He's not fun.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to do nothing. He wants to stay in. He don't like to do fun stuff. So I'm gonna go over here.
Yeah.
Deuces.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also think that's a reason why it's so jacked up with society and why the suicide rate is so high. It's because, men who are, vulnerable and open and want to, talk and have conversations, again, they're viewed as weak, and that's not where women go, right? They want to go to that guy who, and they say they don't, but if you go out there and you look, at like who's dating who and things, that like who's attractive and, who's not. Like you see them all flocking towards, the guy who is peacocking or the guy who seems like he has his life together. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just a lot of times they as in women go out there and get their hearts broken by these dudes that, never had good intentions. And then they come to the nice guys and they try to screw them over, and now because everyone's hurt.
Because they want to feel safe.
Yeah.
The safe guy.
Yeah, for sure.
I think, how many times, have we seen it in this area, or just all the time, is that the girl wants to go with the guy that, like you said, is peacocking because she wants something new.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times that the guy, he just blows the girl off.
Yeah.
Blows her off, just don't pay no attention to her.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but it seems like the more that the guy blows her off, the more she wants him, the more she is attracted to him.
For sure. But if you think about it, but then if you start giving her attention and you give her too much attention, then she gets turned off.
But see, that's the thing.
It's just like a game there of like.
But then that's the thing, because with these fuckboys, the fuckboy will not pay attention to the girl or whatever, and then the girl's like, hey, I want to do whatever with you.
Yeah.
So the fuckboy's like, you know what? I don't want nothing with her. I just want one thing from her.
Yeah.
He sweet talks or whatever, gets what he wants, and then the girl's like, oh, he gave me a chance. Maybe he wants something with me. Yeah. And then the fuckboy's like, no, like I don't want nothing with you.
I just wanted to smash, and now I got it. And now I smash, it's like I'm on to the next one.
Yeah, on to the next one.
Yeah.
Just another notch on his belt.
Yeah. And I used to be a fuckboy. That's why, like, I'm in like this limbo, right? Because I am taking a backseat to having sex.
Right.
I'm going celibate for, I'm asking and praying God, give me the strength for a year. Saturday would be 3 weeks.
Nice.
Right? Like 3 weeks of just like not putting myself in a situation where it could happen. So, but I'm like in this limbo of like I know where I'm going, and I know where I have been, and I know where I have been was it was fun, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It's fun to play the game and to chase after women and ones who didn't want you, and then okay, so then you're making like you're chasing after them, and then once you catch them and get them and they give you what you're looking for, which is sex, then you're on to the next one because there was never really anything deep that you were looking for. It was just a
that
game.
physical attraction.
100%.
And I think as men, I think we're like we revert back to that that deep animal instinct to be the predator. It's all in the hunt. It's all in the chase. And once you stalk her, like for example, let's say we go to the bar.
Yeah.
We're basically two predators. You see a girl that you like, you're gonna quote unquote stalk her, like in the wild. You're gonna see
let's think of another word besides stalk.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not trying to get canceled.
But you see
you look
see
her, you like her, so you want to go and get her. Yeah,
and you want to get this is where you're gonna peacock or
for sure.
do something to get her attention. And once you got her attention, you make that eye contact. She's already seen you.
Yeah.
So that's when you gotta use a
swoop in.
Use a
spit your game.
Yeah, bust the move, do whatever. I mean,
I got you.
And sometimes it's real simple, real easy to you ask a girl like, hey, do you dance?
Yeah.
Take her out dancing. Some girls like it.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I used to be a fuckboy, and now I'm just kind of like I don't want to be one anymore because I don't want to hurt people's feelings. Like I know being that person, I'm going to hurt women's feelings. I'm going to make them feel some type of way, and then I'm going to ghost them, once I get it. And so now I'm kind of in this limbo of I want something like meaningful and deep. There's not a lot of people who are looking for meaningful and deep relationships because they're running because society has said this is what relationships look like. And so that's what they're like looking for. And it's not anything that is meaningful and deep. It's all like superficial. Like if the guy has money, if the guy, has a nice car and a nice house, like that's who you run and go to versus the guy who is, building himself up and trying to figure things out. That guy's not sexy.
No.
Yeah. That guy's not sexy. But the guy who has money.
And the big trucks.
And
he's buying drinks for everybody.
He has the most demons. Right?
Oh yeah.
He is a monster of all monsters, and he has no idea he's a monster.
Yeah. Like
he thinks he's a nice guy. Like he thinks he's, doing good things for society. And I was that guy.
Yeah.
I had, the cash and I had the house and I had, I had all of it. I had all of that. But there was deep down, there was no happiness when it came to that. I could have slept with all the girls in the world, and it was still no happiness.
Yeah, you're just still empty.
Yeah, it was still empty, and so now I'm in like this like change of like, changing from like, I don't want to be a fuckboy. I want to be like a genuinely nice guy. But that comes with me sitting with my monsters and dealing with them and trying to figure out like, how I got to this place.
Yeah,
and that's also scary too because no one wants to do that.
And there's a meme on Facebook. I've seen it. It's that don't bleed on people who didn't cut you.
For sure.
Backstory on me is I was married.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was married at one time or another. But I've been divorced since September of 2016. So all these years I've been single. Yeah. I dated, girls here and there, of course. But I never found one. There was never one that I said I want to start something serious with, And going back to the, fighting your inner demons because of what happened with my divorce, my ex-wife, she just up and left one day. She just like, I don't love you. I don't want to be married to you. I don't want the responsibility of being married to you. So she just left. There's nothing I can do. Nothing. Yeah. So I think maybe the first 2 years I would go out drinking, just staying up all night, doing whatever. I didn't do, drugs and stuff like that, but I just...
We understand what you were trying to say. You were doing girls, staying up all night.
I was
do girls.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was in the dating scene, But at the end of it, no matter how many times I got drunk, no matter how many times I stayed out late, if I went out with this woman or this girl, and then a couple weeks later dated another one, I was never full. I was never happy. I was never satisfied because I was angry because she did that to me.
Yeah.
And there was no reason, no nothing. The simple, reasons that she's like, well, I don't want to be married anymore. I'm like, well, shit. Like, give me your, like, me personally, like, even to this day, no matter what the situation is, like, I feel like because of what happened there, them, or back then, I need closure for any situation.
Got you.
For any little thing, even if it's a text message or, a simple conversation, situation, whatever it is, I feel like I have to have closure, because if I don't have that closure, then I go fucking crazy. It starts in your head. You're like, well, did I say something wrong?
Yeah.
Did I do something wrong, or am I not doing enough? But like I was saying, those first 2 years is like I was an asshole to women. I was an asshole.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I went out and I tell girls like I didn't care.
Yeah.
I didn't care, about your feelings, about your emotions, or like they would tell me like, hey, I want to date you serious. I'm like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
Which, I wouldn't lead them on. I would tell them, straightforward from the beginning. It's like, look, I don't want nothing serious.
Yeah.
If you want something serious, then it's not gonna work.
It's not gonna be me.
It's not gonna be me.
Yeah.
And I think over the years, it transpired. Man, it's a long story, but in those 5 years from when I was divorced to now, being a dad, I grew and I learned that first and foremost, I'm a dad.
Yeah.
I'm a father. Like, my kid lives with me. She's she's a teenager. She's a girl. She needs attention. Well, both my kids, my other daughter, they have keys. They have keys to the house. They have my debit cards, cash. So, they come and go. The other one, my other daughter, she comes and goes. But somewhere in that time frame, or that that line, is I was like, I had the mindset that I can't date anybody because I have to raise my kids first, and like, I was a dad before I was a man. Gotcha. So I think it took me time to learn, and eventually, I would meet girls, and I would pick up on quote unquote red flags, and I would be like, I don't want that. I don't like that. Like, I think at this stage, my 38 years of life, I realize that I know what I want, I know what I'll deal with, and I know what I won't put up with.
Yeah.
And just recently, I found somebody, I started talking to somebody, a couple months ago. We started, talking and dating, and we're together.
Yeah.
It's we keep it private, we keep it private, but
because it's new, like no one needs to know at this point.
Nobody has to know. But it took me all these years to find somebody that I wanted to be like. I wanted to say, hey, I like this girl.
Yeah.
Like, I like what she's about.
Yeah.
I want to get to know her more, better. And to me, I think I had to grow from then to here to actually say, hey, I want a relationship with this girl.
Gotcha.
Like, dude, it's some scary shit.
It is.
Because I've been single for all these years, and then for me to say, I want to be with that girl, like I want to be with that girl and only that girl, and be faithful to that girl.
Yeah.
It's some scary shit, because I've been single for all these years.
Yeah. And you're essentially giving yourself to a person and saying, don't hurt me.
Yeah.
And you've already been hurt in the past before. So so you've been hurt in the past before, and so you're guarded, but then you're like, I still want to get to know her. And so now it's like, you give yourself to this person, and you say, well, hopefully you don't hurt me. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to take chances. You have to take a chance.
For sure.
I'm I guess a hopeless romantic, you could say.
Me too, brother. Me too. Ain't nothing wrong with us, man. I promise.
Nothing. We're the
get you a hopeless romantic guy.
There you go. I mean, he's probably sitting in your DMs, the nice guy that you guys keep, or the guy that you ghosted. That's the guy. That's the guy that's gonna treat you right.
Yeah, he's sitting in your DMs.
Yeah, he's sitting.
You got him on the bench.
The one that you that you have. You haven't even opened his message. That's the guy that's gonna treat you guy.
Yeah. So one thing I want to go back to is not getting closure. I think her leaving was closure. I mean, you might not like, because I'm going through a divorce, and like, it happened so quickly. Like, we was in Cancun in July, We came back from Cancun. We got a divorce. I moved out, and I haven't seen her parents. I haven't seen, her brothers. I haven't seen, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews. Like, I haven't seen anybody. And we also haven't, had a conversation as to why or what. It was just there was no closure, there was no anything. It was just from July until now. And then, there are days where it is tough when I'm just man, this shit sucks. And then today was tough because I found out she had signed the final divorce papers
the decree
last week, right? And so they're most likely send them to me, and I'm gonna sign them, and I mean that's it. And so it's not like a me looking at her saying oh my gosh, we could have made it work or anything. It's more of a me looking at myself and saying, what did I do to create a space where this person didn't want to be with me anymore? And that's the toughest part. To me, it has nothing to do with her. I always go back and, man, if I would have done this, and this, or if I wouldn't have done this, and this, would I still be here? And I don't know if I would still be here or not, but it's just one of those things where I think closure is something that we all deal with. But you might not get the closure that you want, but the closure that is out there is she packed up her stuff and she left. That's closure within itself.
And sometimes no response is a response.
Yeah, for sure.
And how you're talking about that if you could have done this, and that wrong, we all are done it better. We all, sometimes in every situation, we want to play Monday morning quarterback.
Yeah.
But I think that those lessons that you learn there, because there's some hard fucking lessons to learn.
For sure.
You learn those lessons the hard way.
Yeah.
And it cost you your marriage.
Yeah, for sure.
My mistakes cost me my marriage.
Yeah.
But the lessons that we learned along those ways, how to fix yourself,
for
or
sure.
How you're saying you're working on yourself. You're fighting your demons.
Yeah.
And that's kind of you're training yourself for the next one. You're bettering yourself for the next woman.
Yeah.
That way you don't do this, you don't do that, you don't revert to your old ways, so that way you can find a good girl, a nice girl.
Yeah.
And you're good for her and good for yourself in the future.
Yeah.
I think I'm a big believer you have to fix yourself before you can be good for other people.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I 100% believe that too. It's just hard sometimes because you don't want to be alone. And so you run to things and people to try to take away that loneliness, and they're not good for you. But you don't care because at least you're not alone. So
I see that. I mean, in this whole time that I've been single or whatever, I've dated girls, and to me, one of the biggest red flags is that you ask them is well, how long have you been single? Well, a month.
Yeah.
Well, single for a month because you were. Oh, it's because my ex-husband were separated.
Yeah.
Red flag.
100%.
My baby daddy, red flag. My boyfriend from X amount of years, red flag.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna revert to, like you're saying, they're gonna go back to what, quote unquote, the safe place, safe place. To what they know. Because I'm gonna get back with them. I'm gonna give them another chance because we have history.
Yeah.
We have kids together. Or the dude, and it's happened in my situation too. I was, talking to this girl or whatever, and I told the girl, I was like, look, as soon as your, ex-husband finds out that you're seeing somebody, he's gonna run, come, crying back to you hey, I want my family.
Yeah.
And sure enough, she gave him another chance or whatever. But this is probably the 8th, 9th, 10th chance. So I see it as a positive because I probably dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
Because even if I was, let's say I started something serious with that girl, that ex-husband would always be there, nagging and bitching and complaining and always trying to start something. Yeah.
And if you would have messed up and she felt like you was
the same
in a weaker state, then she would run back to him because that's a safe space for her now too. So.
Yeah, and it's a lose-lose situation because how we're talking about is that you have to heal yourself first.
Yeah. Before
you can be good for somebody else. And I just think people like that they just revert to to going back to the safe place.
Yeah. Even though that place isn't safe, and they know that dude is a liar, a cheater, and a manipulator,
abuser, whatever.
Abuser. It's just well, at least I know what I'm going to be feeling when I'm with him, which is so crazy.
It's kind of like better the devil I know than the devil I don't.
For sure. I can see that.
So I think they just, they just, every time they go back and they go back to that, I think that's what they're reverting to the old ways as a safe place.
Yeah.
Or because they have history, but hey, I dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
Because if I would have stayed in that situation, I wouldn't be where I'm at now.
Yeah.
So
with somebody that
actually cares for me.
Yeah. That likes you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell
And it's
yeah.
like you. It's not like a fake you or any, like you're not trying to put up on the front to say like I'm this way. You're just being your true authentic self, and that's who she's dealing with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's what you want. You want somebody that's going to care for you, not all of, superficial things that you have to offer, but she only wants you.
Yeah.
Nothing else. No money, clothes, shopping, cars, trips, house, nothing. She just wants you. She wants your love, your time, your affection, and that's all she wants. And to respect her and to not make her look like a fool or like an idiot.
Yeah.
That's all she wants. Basic.
I think that's the biggest issue that I see in society right now. I don't think people know who they really are. And so they're running into these relationships and they're like being their fake self. And then after a while, their true self starts to come out. And that person is like confused because it's like, well, who are you really? And a lot of people fall in love with the person in the beginning. And that person in the beginning wasn't even a real person. That person in the beginning was trying to catch or get that person. And once that person is together and they're with each other, then they become the person that they have always been.
Right.
And I think there's just a lot of people out there just like confused or stuck in these relationships that they don't know who is who. There are two people that they're dealing with, and they see the potential of the first person, which is not a person that's been real or is real, and they don't like the person that they see that they're dealing with now because that person's an asshole.
Right.
But they don't know that person who is an asshole is that's their true identity.
That's who they really are.
And if someone came to you and was like a true asshole, then either that would turn you off or turn you on, but at least they know.
And from the get-go.
Yeah, from the get-go. But most people don't. And again, I think that's the issue why, people aren't deep. They're superficial because I don't want you to see, my scars in the beginning. And I'm like, if I'm talking to you or beginning to talk to you, I want to see all your damn scars because I'm not trying to figure them out later on because now, you have to show them to me because I'm around. Like, let's have these conversations and let's dig deep and let's figure out, each other on a deeper level versus, being fake until you're real. And then by the time you're real, I don't like the person that you are.
Yeah.
Or she don't like the person that you are. So, yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. I think that's a difficult thing that is happening or is happening in like these relationships now that, it sucks. But I tell men, just be yourself. Like
even if you are boring.
Even if you are boring, even if you like games, even if you don't like to go out, like just be yourself.
Yeah.
Because that person that wants to be with you will be with you. And you don't have to act like you like to go out and drink and party to get that person because that person doesn't want to be with you.
No.
I just put a quote on Facebook. If you have to prove yourself in a relationship, that person's probably not right or for you. Like you shouldn't have to prove who you are to anyone for them to want to be around you. You shouldn't have to prove, you shouldn't have to hide, you should have to protect or defend who you are as a person. Just be yourself.
Yeah, just be real with your scars, your stories, your emotions. Just be you. And eventually, this old timer a long time ago, he used to tell me, he's like, there's always somebody for everybody.
For sure.
So eventually you'll find somebody that wants you for you. Like you're saying, don't be superficial. Don't put up a front that you're, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
But, in reality, you're just an A, B, and C guy.
Yeah. And they'll find out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They'll a lot of women nowadays because they've been with the fuck boys and with the nice guys, they can see through it.
For sure.
They can smell, they can smell bullshit in the water.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can see right through your
They can
shit.
see right through your shit. And you're like, why won't you talk to me?
Yeah.
She's like, well, because you smell like caca. All right, cool, man. I enjoyed this conversation for sure. Last question. What impact do you want to leave on this earth?
I knew it was coming. I knew this question was coming. What impact do I want to leave on this world?
Yeah.
Well, man, that's a tough one. It's deep.
It is.
It's very deep because I have kids and I have girls. I think I'm gonna go two ways on this.
Okay.
As a parent, I want to teach my girls to be respected, and I try to instill those morals and values of respect yourself and treat yourself right. Don't let others disrespect you. Always honor, integrity, trust, respect. Do what you're supposed to do. And I think with them is I want to leave them an example. Say, hey, my dad was this. He never failed. He never did this. He wasn't perfect, but he always was there for us.
Yeah.
And like as far as me being just a man, I want people to say like, yeah, he helped me out, or he changed. Sometimes we can't change the whole world, right?
Yeah,
but we can change just our little corner of it.
Yeah.
Whether it be the people around you, whether it's helping somebody with work or being just talking to somebody. And I think that I would like to be remembered for helping others, for changing somebody's life. I mean, it doesn't have to be financial or anything like that, but it has to be like maybe one day you talk somebody off a ledge.
Yeah.
Something like that. I want to for people to say, man, he was a good dude.
Yeah.
Like he was a good dude. He helped people. He understood a lot of people's problems, and he helped people. He tried his best to help people.
Yeah.
And just leave a good good footprint that on this planet, or with friends and family on this this earth. That he was a good dude.
Yeah. I dig it, man. All right, and also tell the people again, company, what you do, and then where they can find you at.
Well, my company is DMK Construction. It's got a picture of a gold lion. You can find it on Facebook. Most of the time on my personal page, I share my business stuff, like all my projects and videos, and even with like this business thing that I have going on. It's like, but that's probably a conversation for another day.
Now we can have it. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, first, you can find me on Facebook. DMK Construction. It's got a picture of a gold lion. You can see my projects on there. I try to make videos and be more interactive with people and make videos, not necessarily tutorials, but I just want to show the people like, hey, it's not just before picture and after picture. Like if you see on my Snapchat or my, Instagram stories or Facebook stories, you see the process. It's a process. So I want to teach people, I'm learning every day.
Yeah.
But I want to teach others what I know of what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
In my projects and things like that. But since hey, segue into the next one, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember when we started, or you started the men's group that we talked about? Where I brought it up like, I want to start this construction business. I want to start this.
Yeah, for sure.
And do you remember those talks?
I do. What, like 2 years ago?
Yeah,
right?
it was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years
for
ago.
Sure. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. We've come a long way.
We have come a long way from there.
We've come a long way from that.
Yeah.
The business started. I mean, it's been good. It's been good. It started as just a thought because COVID came and fucked everything up.
Yeah.
I had backgrounds in construction. My dads and uncles were framers, drywallers, tapers, painters, in construction industry.
Yeah.
So that was always something that I did. And when COVID hit and everybody was, we're all sitting at home, Netflixing and, going crazy. People would ask me like, hey, do you know somebody that can do this? Like, I'll do it. And then, the whole business idea started as like, yeah, I can do that. Well, I'm like, I don't know how much to charge you. So I'm like, I'll just do it for whatever.
Yeah.
And once I get into that, that project, I'm like, shit, I'm going to have to buy this tool. And then I'm like, well, shit, I got the tools. But then, man, I didn't charge enough for this.
Yeah.
So now I'm basically working for free.
Yeah.
But I bought tools, So I think as that business started I started small with hanging TV mounts.
Yeah. Whatever it took,
Whatever,
man.
yeah.
I got you.
Even if it was, $50, I would change out the outlets.
Yeah.
The outlets, change out lights, ceiling fans, install, TVs.
Yeah.
And then the projects kept getting bigger.
Yeah.
They kept getting bigger. And then there was a little bit more money, and I'm like, hey, people were calling me like, hey, can you, what can I do here? I'm like, well, you know what? Well, we can do this and that. We can knock this wall down. We can open it up. And then the project started getting, increasingly bigger, from changing the outlets and, mounting TVs to doing kitchens, bathrooms, showers. I've, if you follow my page, you can see that my projects, it's like a timeline of how they've grown from simple stuff to, making showers. Like here recently, I've been doing a lot of research and training to do epoxy countertops.
Yeah.
So I did one in Midland. Did you see it?
Was it like you pouring steel? Was like did you pour like something over it or something like that? Yeah, I think I saw it.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
But it was like what, like white and blue, or
yeah, it was a bunch of different colors.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but you play with it. You play with it. And so that's something that it's like it's new, it's different, and I always want to try to, invent myself as as a business and be trying to stand out from everybody else. Like here, what I do is I build a shower, and what's called the niche is that little hole in the wall that you put your shampoo bottles in.
Yeah.
I put LED lights in them, man. Some people like them.
Yeah.
It's new, it's innovative, and it's all waterproof.
Yeah. Go ahead, man.
It's all waterproof. It's meant to.
Have you ever done like concrete countertops? Is that something like?
No, I've never done them.
I'm curious though. I know
I've never done them.
I know some people. I've seen some on like HGTV and stuff like that, and I think that'd be cool, like a concrete countertop.
Yeah, that would be pretty neat.
Yeah.
Like I said, the thing that I'm getting into now is working with epoxy.
Gotcha.
Like you can just basically make it into any colors, schemes, designs, just whatever your imagination is, goes wild. You're the artist.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to push.
Yeah. How do you get like I guess clientele? Is it just like word of mouth type deal?
Word of mouth. I think the biggest influence that I have is your reviews, Facebook. Yeah. I pay to post or to boost my post. Like for example,
sponsorships and stuff like that? Or ads.
Yeah, like so whenever you're scrolling through Facebook and you see, so and so sponsored ad, like Justin has them 2 CrossFit 432 or whatever, Domino's, whatever. It's somebody that pays to boost their ad so that it's always running. More people see it.
Gotcha.
So I think as a business owner, I try to always be in people's minds, always putting content out there, always putting myself out there, projects, my reviews, always I answer questions, or I get messages all the time. I have realtors, they'll call me, they'll ask, questions about, projects, or if I can do something for their clients so they can close. And it's just word of mouth, man.
Gotcha.
Doing, being honest, having good integrity, basically doing a good product, putting a good product out there.
Gotcha.
And that's all you can do. Gotcha. Is because social media can be your greatest friend in business wise.
Yeah, for sure.
Or it can be your downfall. I mean, you're out there scamming people. You're not doing what you're supposed to. Like you
get blasted for sure. I know. I've seen people get blasted for sure on Facebook.
You get burned real quick.
Yeah, real quick. Sure. Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you jumping on, having a conversation. It was a blast.
It was fun.
So again, this podcast is started to help build high-value men. He's over here pointing at his shirt, "Leave a Mark," and I think that's one thing that that's a shirt from CrossFit 432, right?
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug, man. I'm just plugging everybody. And you have a shirt that says "Leave your mark," and I think you're doing that, man. You're leaving your mark. You are a definition of a high-value man, someone who. Because I remember that 2 years ago, we were sitting down and we were on Zoom,
all of us were on Zoom.
And we were talking about what we was trying to do and accomplish. And, here you are 2 years later, and you're doing exactly what you said you wanted to do. Yeah. I remember when you first bought it was a truck, or you bought something.
I would buy tools and I would put everything in the back of my truck. And eventually I'm like, dude, I would.
It was a trailer. You bought that trailer.
I bought a trailer.
Yes, I remember that shit, man. You bought that trailer.
Oh my God. Yeah. I bought that trailer, like I was saying, is that like all my tools, like I would have to buy tools for jobs.
Yeah.
And I would have to load them in the truck every morning, go to the job site, unload them at the job site. And if I went to go eat or whatever, then I would leave them there. But then at the end of the day, I would have to put everything in my truck, and then I'd go home and I'd have to unload everything inside because I couldn't leave everything in the back of the truck because I live in the hood.
Yeah.
And then eventually I bought a trailer, and man, I got so many tools to spray rig to paint.
Yeah.
I can paint.
Yeah.
I can paint.
You can do everything.
Yeah, I do a little bit of everything. I mean, I paint, I do tile, showers, floors, drywall, a little bit of everything, man.
That's awesome, man. Again, I just think you're living that life. You're doing what you say you wanted to do, and you're doing it. And I think that's just pretty cool because we did talk, and I have seen the growth in what it is that you're doing. So I think that's pretty cool. And again, we're here to help just have a conversation about what high value men are, what they look like, and what they're doing. So if you like this podcast, please share it with the people that's in your life. Subscribe to it. Let me know if there are some things that can be fixed, because I'm always open to figuring out new things and learning new things. I don't get hurt for criticism. I think it's good that we all can have a conversation if something isn't right. So
just like you can accept praise, you should be able to accept criticism.
100%. That's another value for a high value man. We're just putting out there.
There you go.
We're leaving y'all on a high note.
There you go.
I appreciate y'all for listening. Y'all have a good one. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And for daily motivational and up-to-date content, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Excellence Above Talent. And remember, keep moving forward, never give up, and you are never alone in this battle. We'll see you next time.